Definition of ASD, autistic spectrum disorder, pervasive developmental disability, that I prefer over most other definitions, and that is Stanley Greenspan's MSDD approach. That terminology, MSDD, refers to multi-system developmental disability, and that's a term he uses for to refer and understand autistic spectrum disorder, and it indicates that the symptoms of autism are really a function of a number of behavioral systems that are affected by the syndrome, and the child's effort to compensate for the problems that they are having. So many of the unusual things kids seem to be doing, which tend to be labeled stereotypic, dysfunctional, unusual, many of those behaviors actually have a function attached to them. That is, the child is trying to accomplish something for him or herself because there is a problem in one or a number of behavioral systems, and the child is trying to do something about it. Now, let us review this definition, okay? Again, Greenspan states that symptoms of ASD-PDD are manifestations of difficulties in multiple behavioral systems and the child's efforts to compensate for these difficulties. These difficulties involve, number one, significant delay or impairment in the ability to form and or maintain an emotional and or social relationship with the primary caregiver. For example, difficulties doing the following: connecting emotionally, evidencing pleasure or warmth with another person, the ability to exchange social gestures. These are the traditional behaviors, and the disability social that was identified early on by, for example, Leo Kanner, who, as we mentioned before, was the person who established the disability area that we now call autism, Leo Kanner. However, Greenspan goes beyond the social and emotional component and identifies a second behavioral system that's involved, and he states: significant delay or impairment in forming, maintaining, and or developing communication. This includes pre-verbal gestural communication, as well as verbal and nonverbal, that is figurative, symbolic symbolic communication. Bottom line, autistic spectrum disorder involves deficits in symbol formation and symbol construction. The disability is intrinsically involves a language problem. And in addition to that, difficulty in general with symbolic functioning. Therefore, children with autism, with autistic spectrum disorder, often have difficulty engaging in or developing symbolic play. They have a restricted gestural system, and they have deficits in other areas that are clearly symbolic: reading, writing, etc. So it's a symbol processing. Autistic spectrum disorder involves a deficit in symbol processing, communication, and language. I'm going to pause here for a second and switch the PowerPoint in front of you.